Welcome back, Swifties. Today I'm going to be checking out The Prophecy from the Tortured Poets department. But before I get into that, if you like my content and you want some longer form Taylor Swift kind of stuff, you know, Miss Americana reaction, Tiny Desk reaction, City of Lover reaction I've done so far, you can watch those over on Patreon, link in description. More coming soon.
Hand on the throttle, thought I caught lightning in a bottle. Oh, but it's gone again.
I always gone on about this, and you guys always gone about it as well. The lyrics are just great, aren't they? You know, hand on the throttle, thought I caught lightning in a bottle. I'll start it again and let it play a little bit. It's a great line, though, isn't it? Great ideas, great concepts. Catching lightning in a bottle. What's that, like creativity, like love?
Hand on the throttle, thought I caught lightning in a bottle. Oh, but it's gone again. And it was written, I got cursed like Eve got bitten. Oh, was it punishment? Pat around when I get home. I guess a lesser woman would have lost hope. A greater woman wouldn't beg. But I looked to the sky and said, please, I've been on my knees. Change the prophecy. Don't want money, just someone who wants my company. Let it once be me. Who do I have to speak to about if they can redo the prophecy? Cards on the table, mind play out like fools.
This is really good, isn't it? This is really, really good. I can't wait to react to all these songs, you know, or the most of them anyway, because then I do want to do a reaction, you know, to the whole album all the way through, man.
Thought I caught lightning in a bottle, oh, but it's gone again.
This is just a great opening line, isn't it? Hand on the throttle, thought I caught lightning in a bottle. The way that bounces as well is great. But that's the way you got to go through life, I guess, sometimes, isn't it? Hand on the throttle. And it's a danger, I suppose, isn't it, to think that we've ever got it figured out, probably, ever, you know. You've always got to be aware of your surroundings, I guess, and realise that although you may have done a lot of things before, some that worked, some that didn't, life always has that tendency, doesn't it, to throw things up at you and you know, catch you off balance or whatever, you know. So catching lightning in a bottle, I guess that relates to, like, you know, the idea of, you know, you think you know how it goes, right? It's that idea, I guess, as well. You know, there's a great line in Doctor Who, you know, everything you are gone like breath on a mirror. That's a good way to look at it, isn't it? You know, or or like dreams, you know, fading away once you wake up.
And it was written, I got cursed like Eve got bitten. Oh, was it punishment?
And it was written, I got cursed like Eve got bitten. So why did Eve get bit by the snake, right? I mean, I'm not that... I guess I learned some of this at school, but I guess I didn't pay too much attention, you know. And I've seen it played out in, like, TV shows and stuff like that, but I know with the bit about, the eating for the tree of the knowledge and the biting the forbidden apple and stuff, which got bit by the snake. Why was that?
Pat around when I get home. I guess a lesser woman would have lost hope. A greater woman wouldn't beg. But I looked to the sky and said, please, I've been on my knees. Change the prophecy. Don't want money, just someone who wants my company. Let it once be me. Who do I have to speak to about if they can redo the prophecy?
Just musically, the way this is building, with like no real percussion or anything, but the guitars and little motifs sort of coming in and out, and the layers and the way it's lifting is just beautiful, isn't it? Adds to the emotion of the relentlessness of this sort of. It creates that relentless feeling, doesn't it? This song. But please, I've been on my knees, change the prophecy. Don't want money, just want someone who wants my company. Let it once be me. It's, I guess, like, there's the idea, no man is an island and all that sort of stuff. Loneliness is the worst, isn't it, man? Really, because everybody wants to be seen, wants to be understood, wants to... You want to have someone to share your life with, right? And share your experiences with, and somebody you can tell good news to, bad news to, I guess good news to, and they'll be happy for you, and bad news too, that they will, I guess, comfort you, but probably also, tell you where you've gone wrong. Perhaps, a bit of tough love is necessary sometimes, right? It reminds me of that the thing Robin Williams said, or I'm not sure he did actually say it, or it's just the internet, saying that he said it, but being alone isn't the worst thing in the world. It's being with people that make you feel like you're alone, or something like that. And I guess a product, I suppose, of my perhaps childhood or upbringing, I'm beginning to realise now, is that for years and years I just thought, I don't need anybody, I don't need anybody. All I need is myself, and we're just going to as in, the multitude of voices, I suppose, for want of a better word, that created inside me, some kind of psychosis, is that, forget everyone else, it doesn't matter, forget the rest of the world, just concentrate on this little bubble, and, be singular in your vision, and I guess that's what. Perhaps that's why I created at some point a character, really. Because I was a really shy, introverted kid. I didn't want to cause anyone any trouble. Really, whether that be my parents or whoever. But then at some point, I decided to, I think I've said before, but, at some point I've realised, I guess probably when I was like maybe 15 or something, I realised, man, no one knows. No one seems to know what they're doing, Grown-ups, they don't seem that grown up to me, Everyone's just making it up as they go along. So I just kind of decided, what, I guess I'm just going to pretend that I am outgoing and I am confident and I am brilliant, I guess that's the thought I must have had, or something along those lines. And very quickly I forgot that I was ever anything else, I suppose, or that to begin with it was pretend. Perhaps I lived that, for as long as possible. But then as well, I found, this is a big digression, but you seem to like that here. And then I guess drinking was there and encouraged from quite a young age, and I fell more into that, and I used to think that all the things, I guess, that bothered me about my childhood, at some point they just didn't matter anymore. But it really wasn't that. It was a suppression, and alcohol, I suppose, was a substitute for connection, right? For love, perhaps. And I think I've come to realize currently, anyway, that that's what most addictions seem to be. Whether it's alcohol, shopping, sex, drugs, whatever. It's an inadequate shortcut, right, to the source, to love, right? I saw a quote the other day, actually, which was that everything that drugs and alcohol promised you, sobriety can deliver, But of course, that's not an easy road, I guess, especially if you've been down the other for a long, long time, It's that hedonistic way of thinking, it doesn't equal the freedom that I thought it did. Discipline equals freedom, because if you're a slave to your moods and your impulses, then that's what you are, isn't it? You're a slave, and you're not living out you're not having the adventure of your life. You're having the adventure of this spirit, for want of a better word, that inhabits you. The spirit of untruth and lies. Whether you're telling actual lies or not is irrelevant. Like, that is not your truth, and that is not your life. I guess as well, that's something I find helpful, which I sort of fall on and off, is vigorous exercise, like daily, or ice baths or cold showers or whatever it is, because I think it's probably a Marcus Aurelius thing, or at least one of the Stoics said it was, we need to treat the body vigorously to remind it that, the mind is boss. Paraphrasing something there. I've wandered off massively on this topic, but yeah, can't wait to check out this full album.
Do the prophecy, cards on the table, mind play out like fools in a fable. Oh, it was sinking in. Oh, slow is the quicksand, poison blood from the wound of the pricked hand. Oh, still I dream of him.
That's an interesting line as well, isn't it? Like invoking a lot of fairy tales. So slow is the quicksand, poison, blood from the wound of the pricked hand. I saw something the other day talking about the story of Sleeping Beauty, like an analysis of it, and it spoke about. Let me see if I can get some of this right and repeat some of this value. I'm always concerned about doing this kind of thing a little bit, because I saw that something else, which was something like, an unintelligent man can never repeat effectively something he hears an intelligent man say, because when he hears it, he automatically translates it into something he can understand. And I mean, that's not to say that I feel I'm unintelligent. But on the spectrum of things, I'm certainly not at the top, and I don't think I'm at the bottom either. But yeah, this Sleeping Beauty thing, like what do these tales, like, as a kid, I guess I just thought all these stories they're just stories, that's all they are. But they especially, I mean, some of those fairy tales are like thousands of years old, supposedly. So why do these stories persist? You know, why do they stick around? What are the morals to these stories? And already I'm panicking in my head now, thinking, Jesus, can I even remember any of this Sleeping Beauty stuff? But the two of the points I remember from it was that, you know, the king and the queen invite everyone to the princess's birthday or something, but they don't invite the evil queen, right? But they should have invited the evil queen, because I guess the moral of that is that you can't. It's like the idea, I guess, of the devouring mother or the devouring father, is that you can't, or you shouldn't be overprotective of your children, right? Because the world is a dark and dangerous and tough place, you know. So if you shelter your children too much from that, then they are not going to be able to deal with the world, you know, once they grow up, even as like adolescents or whatever, you know. And that's not helpful for them, for you, for other people, for society as a whole, is it? You know, you can't delay. You've got to prepare them right to deal with the world. So anyway, so by not inviting the evil queen, what happens? I'm not even sure in the story of Sleeping Beauty what happens, but at some point, right, she pricks her finger, right, and then does she pass out because it's poisoned, or does she pass out because she has been so overprotected that the slightest like little injury or a little bit of blood causes her to, you know, pass out, to faint, because she's so ill-equipped to deal with anything like that, you know, any kind of jeopardy or whatever it is. But anyway, back to the song. Slow is the quicksand, poison blood from the wound of the pricked hand, I'll still dream of him. I think when I was younger, I used to dream of her, you know, of what were, I guess, for a long time I probably thought was an impossible love, right? You know, how I don't know. I'm just gonna let it play on a little bit.
Please, I've been on my knees, change the prophecy. Don't want money, just someone who wants my company. Let it once be me. Who do I have to speak to about if they can redo the prophecy? And I sound like an infant, feeling like the very last drops of an ink pen. A greater woman stays cool, but I howl like a wolf at the moon. And I look unstable.
So this like idea, I know she's said that in the last sort of verse, but this is like a variation on it. And I sound like an infant, feeling like the very last drops of an ink pen. A greater woman stays cool. And it was a greater woman, something else before, wasn't it? So that's an indication of how Taylor thinks things should be, and which will be from her upbringing, right? You know, or if not directly from her upbringing, from the things that she was exposed to, like as art, or, you know, as, you know, books, films, stories, other people around, all the things that she found interesting or exposed herself to. But is that really true? You know, that I mean, these greater women or greater men, it's a complex thing, isn't it? You know, being a human being, you know. So is this just one facet of these greater people that we're seeing, you know? Because I'm sure they of course have got their demons and their own traumas, you know, and all that. So is it a myth, you know, is it a myth, what she's saying? You know what I mean?
And I look unstable, gathered with a coven round a sorceress table. A greater woman has faith, but even statues crumble if they're made to wait. I'm so afraid I sealed my fate, no sign of soulmates. I'm just a paperweight in shades of grayish, spending my last coin so someone will tell me it'll be okay.
What does greyish mean? If you let me know in the comments, that would be awesome. I'm so afraid I sealed my fate, no sign of soulmates. And just the previous few lyrics before that, it just made me think also that it's a different experience, isn't it, in the world for a woman. Because I think I have always retained faith, perhaps not in finding a soulmate, you know, if that's what it is. But, you know, faith that I would achieve the things that I want to achieve, you know, even when things got real dark. But the clock, time moves differently for women, doesn't it, biologically, you know, so that's, if you want a future and kids and a family, then that's like a big concern, obviously, isn't it? Which isn't the same for men. I mean, I was going to say men just have it easier in general, don't they? Like biologically, you know, because I mean, periods, man. What a. I don't know if men. Just once a month for like a week. You know, you just got to be in pain. Like, what's that about, man? And maybe like do. Is it painful for all women? Like, or you know, I guess probably maybe some experience it more than others. And how much is that down to do with? I was going to say with health and stuff, you know. But I guess from what I've heard, you know, I know some. Well, a particularly healthy woman in particular, and it's still. I'm getting a little bit embarrassed now talking about periods and things. I don't know. I guess it shows how much I talk about it, I suppose. I'll take this back a little bit. Just, you know, taking the full thing that's going on.
Crumble if they're made to wait. I'm so afraid I sealed my fate, no sign of soulmates. I'm just a paperweight in shades of grayish, spending my last coin so someone will tell me it'll be okay.
That's beautiful. Like there's some strings going on off over to this side, but I just wish it was a bit higher in the mix, man.
Grayish, spending my last coin so someone will tell me it'll be okay.
Yeah, I want to hear that more, man.
I've been on my knees, change the prophecy. Don't want money, just someone who wants my company. Let it once be me. Who do I have to speak to about if they can redo the prophecy? Who do I have to speak
They're nice, those backing vocals.
The prophecy, hand on the throttle, thought I caught lightning in a bottle, oh, but it's gone again.
That's making me think of, I guess, of the idea of of chasing things, you know. And it seems in my experience that the more you chase things, the more you look for things, often the further they get away. And with anything in life, I think you've got to engage in the process, right, and forget about the result, or not be doing things for the result. Although, of course, you know, everyone wants and needs to, you know, you need to be successful, at least financially, don't you? You know, because you need security. You know, because without security, life is without financial security, life is just even more difficult than it already is or can be, right? You know, and you know that leads to undue stress and lack of sleep and you know, even poor quality of food or whatever it is, you know, and that just affects everything, you know, and it's a vicious cycle and a downward spiral, even if it's a really slow one throughout your life, you know, because we don't have to grow. I know a lot of people, I suppose, that, you know, their bodies are failing them and their minds are failing them as they get older, you know. And I know that some people, through, you know, no fault of their own, shit just happens to them, right? So I'm not talking about those people, but for the vast majority, you know, where I'm from anyway, we were never taught anything about, you know, nutrition or exercise or the importance of it, you know. That, you know, that you can, not just is that, I mean, I guess we were, you know, the idea of certain foods, I guess, were healthy, but there was never a great importance on it, you know. It was downplayed, you know, that like certain diseases or whatever they're just things you're going to get, you know, and I remember a lot of grown-ups when I was a kid sort of saying, you know, oh, we might get hit by a bus tomorrow or something, you know, like just sort of throwing it away like that. But the fact of the matter is, isn't it, you know, that if you eat the right foods, you know, and you experiment, you know, try and notice when you eat things like how they make you feel, you know. Do they make you feel slow and lethargic, or, you know, do they make you feel bloated, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, which foods make you feel alive, you know, which foods give you energy, you know. And I'm not talking about, I guess, high sugar things or high, like, you know, loads of caffeine, because that's like a stimulant, isn't it, you know. But anyway, just trying to eat healthy, you know, and exercising, you know, moving your body, you know, because it's move it or lose it, isn't it, you know, and you know, work on your mobility or your strength, or get your lungs going, you know, get your heart pumping if you're able to, you know. And if you're not able to, you know, if you just walk a bit every day or whatever you can manage, you should do it, you know, because I believe we can we can live, stay hydrated as well, you know, but we can live, you know, into our 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe even, you know, 100 or more, like with the future that's coming, by looking after yourself, you know, and your mind can stay sharp, you know. And just imagine the quality and depth of your life, right, that you can have if you do that. What did I start talking about? Don't even know.
Pat around when I get home. I guess I'm less a woman that I've lost hope. A greater woman wouldn't say, but I looked to the sky and said,
Well, that was an interesting quick fade out there. Yeah, guys, that was cool, man. A nice little melody and stuff as well. But anyway, thanks for joining me for that one, guys. Check out the Patreon if that's your thing. The little spider I'm noticing here on my microphone. I saw him dangling a little bit during the thing, you know. Maybe he's a Swiftie too. Take care of yourselves. Have a great week. Lots of love to you. I'll see you soon.